All right. Welcome and greetings. I am Karanda. I am a spiritual coach, intuitive tarot reader, and numerologist. Today, I have a lesson about karmic numbers that I want to present here for you today. We are going to examine the four main karmic numbers, and I'm going to tell you about my own personal approach to numerology, which is more esoteric in nature. I'm going to explain the difference between traditional numerology practices as opposed to what I practice myself, which is a more holistic method. As the way that I see numbers is more towards the symbolism, right? Numbers are symbols, and it is more aligned to universal frequencies as opposed to modern numerology, which is centered around a base 10 system. But the universe itself and other metaphysical practices center around a form of base 12, right? We live in a base 12 universe. And a lot of what is missing in the modern numerology is that spiritualism, right? The soul and the energy of what these numbers actually represent. So, as we examine these karmic lessons and these energies, I also want to bring a more practical approach to numerology while also giving you some advice and tips on how we can overcome these energetic imbalances. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to reveal the truth behind these energetic imbalances presented in karmic energy. Now the first karmic number is 13. The second one, of course, being 14. Then we got 16 and 19. Oops, click too fast. Now, karmic numbers represent unresolved lessons or challenges from past life experiences, past incarnations, or it could have nothing to do with a past life, but a early life experience that stems from our childhood or early teens. Okay, that we wanted to experience in this present incarnation. Karmic numbers in numerology point to lessons that we've carried with us, whether from these past lives or early life experiences. And it's important to know that these lessons are not a punishment. Okay, there is no debt that you have to pay back. Okay, these are all things that you chose to learn. These are opportunities for soul growth and personal development. And each of these numbers shines light on areas where you are being invited to stretch, evolve, and grow. You can think of them as spiritual assignments that are designed to help you become the best version of yourself. Even if you don't have karmic numbers in your full numerology chart, okay, we see these numbers on a daily basis. So if you see 13, 14, 16, or 19 as a synchronicity, these are going to be reminders for you at the time that you view them. As for karma itself, okay, karma just means energy. And a lot of times people think karma is something negative, but energy is neither good or bad. Okay, energy simply is. It just exists. And it presents itself in these opposing but complementary polarities that we call positive and negative. You can also call these polarities up and down, left or right, light and dark. They're not good or bad, they just simply are. These polarities are also represented by masculine and feminine energy. Now, when something is karmic, that represents a energetic imbalance, right? Your energy itself could be karmic at times when we are not balanced within ourselves. You can have a karmic relationship. You can have a karmic appliance, okay, when it is not balanced within itself. Okay, if your fridge or your microwave is not working in the way it should, that is a karmic energy. Now, karmic numbers are testing numbers, much like master numbers. It's a chance to work through challenges and gain wisdom to further develop on your soul's path. Now, we can move on to this next slide here where I explain my own approach to numerology. Now, the traditional approach to numerology reduces the birth month and birthday prematurely. It's due to this reduction that people don't fully resonate with their life path, as modern or Western numerology is in that base 10 system. And so, to fit those base 10 calculations, a lot of reduction is needed. And it also focuses on a triad of numbers. Um, Coining master numbers to solely be 11, 22, and 33, but they do extend upon that, and those numbers themselves are sometimes referred to as power numbers: 44, 55, 66, 77, 88, and 99, but those two are testing numbers. Now, a long time ago, due to strict religious doctrine and teachings and superstitions, the 44 was sort of discontinued when it comes to numerology, but it is represented in a master number energy, right? If we have 2 and 11 being that higher frequency, we have 6 and 33 being the higher frequency, we have 4. And 22 being the higher frequency of that, well, we have 8. And the higher frequency of that would be 44. And so, with this testing energy, we can then vibrate into that lower register at times. So, that is why the traditional approach would reduce the birthday or birth month, if your birthday, in this example I have here, or 14, which is a karmic number, if we reduce that prematurely, that would miss those uh, nuances in the significance of 14 itself. We lose these critical energetic insights as each number carries a story, right? 14 is not just 5. 14 is 4 and 1 working together. If we were to reduce this removes that deeper layer of understanding and meaning, which limits your understanding of your own personal journey. And this is leading people to less personalized and potentially less impactful interpretations of their life path. With this approach, which is a more esoteric approach to numbers, we keep that full energy intact. By honoring this full number, we retain that energy, that story, the full compound digit that reflects the lessons of 14, which are concerning freedom and moderation. And these are essential aspects that you wouldn't see if you were reduced to 5. With this approach, it provides a deeper understanding to yourself. And again, this reflects your complete essence, and this method reveals those lessons and that compound energy of your highest self. And it helps you align more truthfully to your experience that you chose to learn this lifetime. Now, for the example I have here on how to calculate your life path number, I have the birthday of March 14th, 1980. The month, of course, is 3, the day 14, and the year is 1980. So the first step in numerology equations would be to reduce that birth year. And how we reduce that birth year is by adding those single digits until we get a compound number. This is why we reduce the birth year first, so we can get that compound frequency and it is easier to work with. If we add 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 0, that reduces down to a 19. 19 plus 3 plus 14 equals 35, and 35 is the full vibration of this birth date. If we were to reduce that 14 to a 5, the sum would then total 26, when the life path number itself is more fully recognized in that 35 as opposed to that 26. In numerology, the number directly to the left of that slash is going to be your dominated trait. So for this life path number, the dominant trait would be 5, which works through the 3 to get us to that root or base number of 8. And that oversimplification done in modern practices is not really the whole truth of yourself. It lowers your frequency. And so you may not resonate with certain numbers or aspects of yourself, even though it's somewhat yourself, but it misses those nuances, those details. Someone who is 35 has that 5 energy, and 5 is much more adventure seeking, right? It's much more curious. It wants to explore and gain insight and wisdom. The 3 is also a very joyful energy, right? It's very abundant. It wants to grow, wants to develop. But 26 here is a number of service, as it's dominated by that 6 energy. And 2 is a number of duality, right? Partnerships, cooperation, mediation. A 26 life path is more cooperative and wanting to provide for others through service and harmony and conflict resolution, as opposed to 35. The 35 is a much more energetic energy as opposed to 26. So if we were to prematurely reduce this number, that individual is not understanding that 5 energy as part of their life experiences. Now, as for the birthday number, okay, that is a significant number itself. But if you were to get the total of 13, 14, 16, or 19, that would mean your life experiences would be a karmic lesson. If it shows up in your birthday number, which represents your traits, your talents, your approach to life and relationships, this is where that imbalance is coming from, specifically towards what you already know to be true. Okay, what you are naturally imbued with when it comes to your energy. Now, for your life path, right, this is what you must learn. Okay, but if it's your birthday number, you already know this. But it may present itself as a challenge, but not so much as it would if it were your life path number. Moving to the lessons of each karmic number here, 13's lesson is all about hard work and discipline. So, 13 is a call, whether it is in your birthday number, whether you're seeing it as a sign or synchronicity, if you've been putting off responsibilities or looking for shortcuts, okay, this number is here to nudge you back on track. It's reminding you that success comes from consistency and building a solid foundation, and to embrace that hard work because it is worth it. 13 reduces down to a 4, but is a 3 working with the 1 here. And 3 is a very scattered energy at times, and 1 could be a bit stubborn. So this is why this is an imbalance in energy, because it wants to become the 4. And 4 is the number of structure and organization. So to balance itself out is going to take a little extra effort. So if you are avoiding responsibility or cutting corners, well, life is asking you to build a more structured approach. That is what 13 is. It's about transformation, right? It's about getting more grounded within yourself and leaving behind any sort of toxic traits or habits in order to transform into something more stable. Next, karmic number up here, we have 14, and 14 is the number of balance and moderation. Okay. 14 is the reminder to find the middle ground. Okay. It is about equilibrium, it's about fairness. Life may feel like a seesaw at times if this number is in your chart. Okay. It could be swinging with too much control or too much chaos. And this number is here to help you find that sweet spot, okay, that middle ground between freedom and responsibility. 4 is the number of order, right? And again, that 1 wants to be independent. Underneath that, though, we have the 5. And so the 5 is very explorative, it's very curious. And it doesn't always blend that well with a 4 who wants more structure and order and stability in its life. And so, a question to ask yourself if you are a 14 or C14 is, are you clinging into that 14 energy that is a bit too controlling, or leaning too far into a more chaotic energy? It's about learning how to find that harmony and balance between freedom and stability. Next number is 16, and 16 is the karmic lesson of ego and humility. 16 can feel like a wake up call, okay, an epiphany. Okay, 16 is represented by the tower in tarot for a reason. It's a call to step back and take a look at your ego, okay? Your ego is your fear based mind. Okay, it's the thing that thinks it's keeping us safe, but sometimes it can be holding us back. And this is why we need ego checks. If things feel shaky, it might be time to let go of those old patterns and embrace a deeper understanding of yourself. Okay, this number wants to grow spiritually. 1 plus 6 is 7, and 7 is the number of spiritual wisdom, right? It's a very intuitive number. It's trying to seek the deeper meaning of life, but the 6 number with the 1 can be a bit of a challenge. It's more lesson on self-awareness. If you have a 16 in your chart, it's a need to break down your ego to reveal that inner truth and provide that moment of clarity. 19 is the number of independence and service. 19 is asking you to step into your power, but also remembering that if you are a powerful, strong, independent person, you need to always be able to reach back and help others who may not be as strong, as independent of leader as you. It's finding that balance between standing strong on your own and giving back to those around you. So when you do learn this lesson and all these lessons, you will feel empowered and connected to your purpose. These lessons are opportunities to learn and understand yourself better. And once you do learn the lesson, that means you don't have to do it again. It's a stepping stone in a sense towards your highest potential, right? These are not blocks, these are not something negative, these are testing energies. Now, steps. Okay, how do we work with these lessons? Okay, if you see these energies, how are we going to actually overcome them? And I have 4 basic steps here to help you with that. And the first one is to reflect on these patterns. We need to think about why these lessons and patterns keep showing up in our life. Those same challenges or situations that feel like deja vu moments. Okay, have I done this before? I've been this before. You need to ask yourself, what is the universe trying to teach you here? Okay, reflection is the way to uncover where you're being urged to grow. The first step is always self awareness. Okay, a lot of times we do these things unconsciously. And to bring something unconscious to our conscious, we need to be able to acknowledge that there is an imbalance in the first place. What will help with that? Well, journaling. Okay. Journaling your thoughts. Now, I got my first journal when I was probably 7 years old. Okay. It was a Barbie journal. It was those Barbie journals that have tabs on the side of all the months and the birthstones. Okay. So, um, I realized that stones and crystals have been a big part of my life at an early age. But if you just grab any notebook and start writing, okay, you don't need a plan. Okay, you just start drawing pictures and squiggles. You just let your thoughts flow. And sometimes just putting the pen to paper is what's going to help you make these connections that you didn't realize were there. Okay, it's a great way to clear your head and connect dots, even if it's simply just saying that I'm upset at something and then tearing up the paper later because you realize that your feelings were only temporary. So get a journal. Okay, that is step 2. 3 is to use affirmations. Now, sometimes people misunderstand affirmations. Now, when I became a Ho'oponopono practitioner, the biggest thing about Ho'oponopono is repeating those 4 simple phrases. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And I repeat these daily all the time to clear negative energy, old patterns, limiting beliefs that have kept me stuck. And it is a very effective method because you are affirming and setting intentions for your day. And these are little pep talks for your soul. Okay, it's a way to lift your own self up. Now, if your number is 14, for example, you could say that I I is acknowledging yourself, right? It is acknowledging God, right? I am, that I am presence within yourself. Anytime you say I, that is a declaration of you in your divinity. I balance freedom with responsibility. Repeat it daily. It is a simple way to keep your energy aligned with the lesson that you are working with. Lastly, step 4. Make small, consistent actions. Big changes do not happen overnight. So if you recognize these patterns in your numerology, or if you see these numbers on the street, or if they show up a lot in a reading, it's a reminder to start small. Okay, if your number is 13, maybe the small action is to finish one task that you've been avoiding before committing to another. Okay, these little steps add up, and before you know it, you will start seeing progress. A big lesson for 13 is procrastination. And I don't have 13 in my chart, but I do have a tendency to procrastinate. Okay, it's a lot of people's problems when you are presented with so much information and tasks and things at one time. It can be hard to keep on track. And so I've had to use this affirmation for myself, which is I embrace discipline, even if I'm not actively doing it. Setting that affirmation, that intention, that reminder for myself is what's going to keep me grounded and stable throughout my day. Now, this last step isn't really a step, okay? It's just something that we all need to do, which is to celebrate any progress that you make, okay? Don't forget to give yourself some credit. Even those tiny wins are worth celebrating. Okay, if you catch yourself in a imbalance, in a pattern, in a negative belief, in a moment where you weren't being your best self, that is a win. So treat yourself. Do something that you love to do. Take a moment to say that I am proud of myself. Acknowledge your growth. That is what's going to keep you motivated. Because if you don't acknowledge your progress, okay, if you know that you've changed, there may be other people around you who may not like that change. And 5 is the number of change and adaptability and versatility. And change is a part of life. 5 is a part of life, right? And change is either going to be positive or negative, depending on the energy that you put behind it. Now, I have some affirmations for you. Okay, I want to help you out here, of course. So, for 13, the affirmations I have are to embrace the power of consistent effort, to build a strong foundation for your future, because 13 is about learning the lesson of hard work and discipline. Tell yourself, I find joy in hard work, knowing it will lead to lasting success. I release procrastination and commit to steady progress in all I do, because if you tell yourself consciously enough, your unconscious mind will get it until the point it becomes unconscious. And you don't have to think about it because it's part of who you are. 14. I balance freedom with responsibility, creating harmony in my life. I honor my need for adventure while staying grounded in my commitments. I let go of extremes and choose moderation in all areas of my life, right? Everything in moderation. 16, I release my ego and open myself to spiritual growth and self awareness because you are not a human being. Okay, you are a soul having a human experience. I trust that life's challenges are going to guide me to deeper wisdom. I embrace humility, knowing it brings me closer to my true self. Last, here we have 19. 19. I stand strong in my independence while offering support to those around me. I give selflessly, knowing that service connects me to a higher purpose. I balance personal empowerment with compassion for others because when you realize that there are no others, separation is the illusion. By helping another, you are truly helping yourself. That is the lesson of 19. So pick any affirmation, okay? Anything that helps you, that resonates with you. If it resonates with you, that is a sign in synchronicity that it is aligning with your soul's truth. And use it as a daily reminder for your personal growth. Now, we're going to put my coaching hat on again. Of course, we have some reflective questions for you. The reflective question for this video I have is, well, which karmic number resonates most with you right now? What patterns or lessons keep showing up in your life? I know for myself, that could be 13. So if you want to reflect on the question, okay, get a journal, leave a comment, right? If you are comfortable enough, share your commitment to taking that first step. Next, we have this actionable question is what is that one small step you can take to start embracing this lesson, this pattern of behavior that you chose to experience this lifetime? Because remember, it's something that you chose to do. Okay, nothing is happening just to happen. There are no coincidences. You chose to walk this path. You designed this path with God, okay, with your guides, with your highest self for your own personal soul's growth and development. Now, I want to thank you, of course, for your support and joining me today in this video. I hope this presentation has helped you see karmic numbers as not as something as negative, but as an opportunity for transformation. If it hasn't resonated, I am sorry. Please forgive me. Remember to like the video, and if you would like more insights or if you want to stay connected, of course, you can check out my IG where I share quotes and other spiritual based books, and you can get a glimpse of my behind the scenes work. Or if you have any questions, reach out to me there, or my information is all over the channel. I love to hear from you. That about sums it up. So, as always, thank you and I love you. Toodles!